Am I the a-hole being cruel for telling my daughter that she will need to help pay back the money that I spent on her wedding? My daughter was supposed to get married in about 4 months. Earlier this week, I learned that the wedding is off, and apparently it has been off for about a month now. The frustrating part is that I only just found out about it. From what I've been told, the wedding was called off because her fiancé discovered that my daughter had cheated on him early in their relationship. Once he found out, he ended the engagement. I'm not here to judge that situation in detail, but the reality is that the wedding is no longer happening. The problem is the financial side of things. I had given my daughter money to help pay for part of the wedding, but it was not meant to be a gift. When she first asked for help, I made it clear that if I contributed, there would be a few conditions. The main condition was that the venue had to be accessible for people with disabilities, because we have family members who would need those accommodations. She agreed to that, and based on that agreement, I paid the deposit and secured the venue. I put that money down for the venue to reserve the date. Now that the wedding has been canceled, the venue will not issue a refund. According to their contract, the deposit and payment are non-refundable once the date is secured. To make matters worse, my daughter has already informed them that she will not be using the time slot and that nothing will be happening that day. Despite that, I am still responsible for the full payment. When I found this out, I called my daughter and told her that I needed her help covering the cost of the venue. I explained that since the wedding is no longer happening, I cannot afford to just lose that amount of money. I told her that she should help repay at least part of it. This led to a huge argument. She became very upset and said I was being cruel for asking her to pay anything back. I reminded her that the wedding likely would have happened if she hadn't cheated on her fiancé, and that the money I contributed was never intended to be a free gift. It was money given under the assumption that the wedding would actually take place. Now she's extremely angry with me, and I'm left dealing with the fact that I'm out around $10,000. Now for the top comments. I would consult some laws in your state and the contract that you signed. Most venues do not require payment in full after cancellation, but will not refund deposits. It is unlikely that you should have to finish paying the venue. Regardless of that, not the a-hole. She cheated and caused the demise of the relationship, costing you a significant sum of money. Yeah, it's weird he put down a deposit but has to still pay the full amount even though it's canceled. Isn't that the entire point of a deposit? I'm a woman. Weird, everyone is assuming I am a man. The way this venue works is that it has to be paid in full by the wedding date. It is in the contract. Most people just take out a loan and pay it at once. Multiple venues we looked at had this policy and didn't do payment plans after the wedding date. It almost is paid in full. When it has to be paid and how much you get back if you cancel are two different things. Most venues will specifically have a cancellation section in the contract that outlines how much they keep if you cancel, based on how far in advance of the wedding date it is. Just because you've given them the money doesn't mean you aren't entitled to some of it back. We are past the refund date in the contract. They only allow refund at 6 months. It was very clear you would be expected to pay in full if you tried to get out of it after 6 months. If they just say they're keeping the money, you may get it back if you pressure them a little, and if they have no good legal ground to keep it. 4 months is ample time to find replacement for a venue. I'd be more understanding if it was 1 week or a couple days before. Second, your daughter cheated and got herself in a pickle. I think she should learn some accountability now to prevent her making dumb decisions in the future. It's in the contract. It has to be 6 months out for a cancellation to get any refund. The wedding was supposed to be in 4. She just informed the venue of it being canceled, so no way I am getting any refund. The contract was very clear. Their website was very clear. Before I paid, they were very clear. I'm not getting money back and I still need to pay, which I already paid for most of it. It was very, very clear. Next story. Am I the a-hole? Parents boycotted my wedding. Now they want me to apologize and miss me? I got married about a year ago, and my parents did not come to the wedding. In fact, they actually tried to sabotage the celebrations by calling relatives and telling them not to attend or go out for the events. Otherwise, they would stop talking to them. According to them, my marriage and its associated celebration were disrespectful because my wife and her family did not show my parents enough respect. They cloaked it as the girl's family should behave in a specific way, which means they are lower than us, since we are the boy's parents. Cultural conditioning. From my perspective, that was not the case at all. If anything, I felt my parents were the ones being disrespectful toward my wife, her parents, and her entire family. My sister and her husband also did not attend the wedding and refused to speak to us because they believe we disrespected her parents. Since the wedding, I have been no contact with all of them. Recently, though, my mom has started messaging me saying things like how much she misses me, how I'm a part of her heart and life, and that she doesn't want to revisit the past. She says whenever my heart is ready, she will be there. There is no acknowledgement of my wife in my life, as if she doesn't even exist. This is where I have questions. 1. How did the responsibility suddenly become mine to reach out and fix things? And where was that same love when her son was getting married? My dad has also been telling relatives that if we apologize, then everything will be solved. 2. I genuinely do not understand what exactly my wife and I are supposed to apologize for. Also, my sister, who seems to be the golden child, and her husband will be at a mutual friend's wedding soon, which my wife and I will also attend. 3. How do we handle seeing them there? For context, I have actually been pretty at peace being no contact with all of them. I feel a lot less guilt and obligation than I used to. Am I the a-hole, or are they trying to make me one? 1. It isn't yours unless you let it be. 2. The only thing you should apologize for is expecting them to act like respectful adults and be happy for you. 3. Be the wedding guest at this wedding that you hope they would be at yours, respectfully happy for, and focused on the bride and groom. Stay by your wife's side all night. If they try to speak with you and you do not feel ready for that, just say, "It's good to see you, but we are here to celebrate John and Jane, and do not want anything to get in the way of their happy day. If you feel like you have something to say, please give me a call any other day, but this one is theirs." I appreciate the response you shared. I'll have to memorize this. Thank you. Not the a-hole. This is typical Asian parents and their toxic ways. Asian parents, right, bro? Coming from personal experience, LOL. They will never apologize or admit what they did was wrong. They will want to bury it and move on as if nothing ever happened, and she's now extending that invitation for you to do the same. But your eyes are open now, and it's hard to unsee things, hence why you feel less guilt and obligation. May I ask if you are planning on rebuilding that bridge or leaving it burnt? Yes, Asian parents. They've truly tried to paint me as the a-hole to the entire extended family for holding a grudge and continuing this family feud. If they had taken accountability, then maybe I'd want to rebuild. But now it seems I'll leave it burnt. Not the a-hole. Curious if your parents had the same approach when your sister got married, as they were the girl family in that situation. They are so submissive to my sister's in-laws. If the in-laws say jump, my parents ask how high. But truth be told, they are inconsistent. During my sister's wedding, my parents paid 20% of the wedding expenses, which was a destination wedding in Mexico. In my case, they told my wife's family they had zero money to contribute, and her family said that seems unreasonable, considering it's both of their weddings. In my sister's case, the boy's family did the heavy lifting, but in my case, they expected the girl's side to do it. Hypocrites. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not staying after our niece got arrested? So we were all going to be flying back from a family member's wedding. A bunch of us were on the same flight that got canceled. We were able to get tickets for another flight that had a layover. My sister sneakily got a ticket on a direct flight. She basically just left us with her 17-year-old daughter because she said she had to get back home for work. We know she didn't tell us because she knew we would not have agreed. She knows we all think her daughter is a pain in the butt. But anyway, with no other options, we took her with us to the airport, and she was her moody, difficult self the whole time. While we were waiting in the airport during our layover, she got up to supposedly go to the restroom. Well, when she got back, the airport police came up and she got arrested for shoplifting. The police said that since she was 17, she would be charged as an adult there and transferred to the county jail. They said that she could be out tomorrow, or it could take longer depending on how busy they were. We all had our own places to be and were tired from dealing with travel stuff. Most everyone, notably besides me, had younger kids that were also tired and cranky. No one wanted to change their flight again and get a hotel for what may be multiple nights, so they could stay and wait for her. At this point, to be honest, we were just fed up with her. We talked to the police about it, and they said it would be okay if we took our flight. So we relayed the information to my sister over text. She was upset and demanded that someone stay, and that we couldn't just abandon her there. By the way, we did check and saw that there were multiple flights my sister could take to get there by tomorrow. She said she couldn't because she had work. We said so do we, but that was it before we got on our flight. So when we got home, my sister was freaking out because we all left even though she said she had work. She is now mostly just mad at me for leaving, since I didn't even have kids like the others. And she thinks my work is much more flexible compared to hers, and that they would have believed me if I had just lied about flight issues or used more days off. Not the a-hole. She abandoned her daughter, in a country she doesn't live in. The rest of you aren't her parents. It's a different state, not a different country. Although the state my sister left her in, where we were at the hotel, is a different state than the one where her daughter got arrested and the one where we all live. Not the a-hole. What's she mad about? For abandoning her own daughter? Or raising her so poorly that as a teen she's shoplifting in an airport? The worst place to try it because of increased security. She's probably also mad OP doesn't have kids. Just because you don't have kids doesn't mean you have to drop everything for someone else's kids, LOL. Wild take. You can't abandon the child but the mother can? Not the a-hole. She's 17, not 7. The mom can fly back out within hours. Potentially, the niece can be bailed out via the internet and can Uber to the airport and go to the gate for whatever ticket her mom sends. That is, there might not be a need at all for travel. Sure, it would suck to be 17 and have to navigate this after spending a night or two in jail, but this level of uncertainty might be a good wake-up call for her. Last story. Would I be the a-hole if I went to stay with my parents for a couple of weeks? Because my husband's family planned a 5 to 6 week stay in our 2-bedroom house without asking me? I, 29 female, got married in December, less than 3 months as of today, after being with my husband, 29 male, for almost 7 years. One thing I've always been very clear about with him, both before and after marriage, is that I need my space, and that decisions about people staying in our home should involve both of us. Recently, I found out that his sister, her husband, their child, and my in-laws have all booked tickets to come stay with us. That's about 5 to 6 weeks. I would be more than happy to host them for 1 to 2 weeks, but 5 to 6 weeks seems too overwhelming at this stage. The part that really upset me is that no one asked me beforehand. I only found out after everything was already booked, and that too when it was asked how long they were planning to stay. We live in a 2-bedroom apartment in an extremely hot climate, and this will mean 7 people total in the house in peak summer. My husband will be at work most of the day, so I'll be the one at home with everyone. There are also lifestyle differences. My in-laws are strict vegetarians. They won't even let us make eggs at home, while my husband and I both eat non-veggie as a staple diet. I already know I'll have to adjust what I eat at home, what I wear around the house, and generally how I live for that entire time. What hurts more is that this isn't the first time we've discussed boundaries. For years, my husband told me he understood that I need space and that he would handle these things with his family. This was the one deal breaker from my end, but he always assured me he would make sure I never have to be put in situations like this. But when I brought this up again after finding out about the visit, his response was basically, "What do you want me to do? Everything is already booked." For context, I also moved away from my own family and friends to live where he works, so this house is pretty much my entire world right now. At this point, I'm honestly feeling really hurt and disrespected. It feels like decisions about my own home were made without me. I'm considering going to stay with my parents for a couple of weeks while they're here just to get some space, but they live on the other side of the country, so it's not a small trip, and I'm not sure spending that much would be financially advisable. Also to add, his parents keep coming to visit us for 7 to 10 days every other month anyway. This was also not discussed with me, but in good faith I adjusted. How would you handle something like this? not the a-hole. Tell your husband he can tell his family you, as a couple, not just you making you the bad guy, aren't able to host them. Or I'd be staying elsewhere the entirety of their trip. Let him do all the work of hosting while also working. Maybe he'll stop being okay with the long and frequent visits when he's the one inconvenienced. You get that you weren't told exactly, so your husband can say they've already booked everything, right? Also, it's sounding like this only started after your marriage. You know, when you're already locked into the relationship, sounds like he's finally let the mask down, and you're now learning who he really is. You need to have a serious discussion on why he's trampling your boundaries. His response will tell you if the relationship might be salvageable or not. He keeps saying this won't happen next time. We'll set boundaries. But I'm afraid the situation would be the same next time as well. He's very non-confrontational, and I have to nag him into discussing these things with his parents. It feels like the burden is always on me. As someone who's lived in a 2-bedroom for 20 years with my partner, if he sprung all my in-laws on me in this manner, I'd pack my stuff and GTFO. If he can't stand up to the leading parent's entitlement, in my case it would be my mother-in-law, then he would never stand up for me in the first place. I'm feeling vicarious rage for you right now. Clearly not the a-hole. I broke down last night and am so angry at him. We haven't spoken since. That's a normal and healthy response. What you're not changing, you're choosing. Spend the entire time with your family. Tell him that moving forward, his family visits are a 2 yes, 1 no situation. If they show up without your consent, you will book a hotel or stay with your family. Tell him this is about him disrespecting you and his failure to prioritize your relationship. Stress that you like his family and that it's his lack of boundaries that is causing this tension.